Well, thank you everybody for taking the time out of your morning, afternoon, evening, day from wherever you're calling in from to join us for this webinar. Today we're going to be launching the Global Veterinary Career Guide written by Dr. Kikiope Oluwore, or just Kiki for short. We're going to be going over today, we're going to take a couple hours to go over the content of the book, why it was written, and a couple Q&A type sessions with the author herself. And I think we're starting out with some results of just an audience poll. And are we going to be seeing the results of that popping up anytime soon? If not, we can get introducing Dr. Kiki. So Dr. Kiki is quite an accomplished veterinarian from Nigeria, which it seems like some of the folks here are from as well. Her background reads kind of just like almost a conga line of just different consultancies and working with different intergovernmental organizations. And I see the poll popping up right now. But it all kind of starts with at least on paper, with her veterinary training at the University of Ibadan, from which she got her DVM. And she also did a internship in tuberculosis and brucellosis research there. And that was back in finishing in 2011, 2013, respectively. And then comes kind of that aforementioned conga line of different consultancies, working with things like the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, African Union, World Health Organization, the like. And perhaps most saliently, as of the past half decade or so, she set up the One Health and Development Initiative, among a variety of other initiatives as well. She is additionally an alumni of the Emerging Leaders in Biosecurity Initiative, or ELBI Fellowship from Johns Hopkins. So very prestigious stuff, as well as the Charity Entrepreneurship Incubation Program, the Commonwealth Scholarship, and Carrington Youth Fellowship Initiative as well. Co-creator of Roar, a multilingual AI-powered platform which improves access to trusted health and agricultural information and services, as well as a platform called One Health Resources, which is a platform on LinkedIn which people can sign up to right now or follow right now if they want more and more information about opportunities in the One Health world. Her work has contributed to a huge bevy of different kind of NGO, global development, veterinary One Health interests, including animal welfare, AMR mitigation, as well as sustainable food systems and safe and healthy food systems. She's also worked at the national level, the international level, global level, to coordinate One Health programs, systems, and has become, very much an expert in her own right in the One Health world, and has been as such for quite some time. She's sort of bequeathed upon us this book, which consolidates a lot of experience that she's gained regarding the veterinary field over the course of her career. The career guide is basically this practical as well as globally relevant resource that's designed to help veterinary students, potentially those who are paraprofessionals or just working alongside professionals, to understand the opportunities and challenges, decisions they'll have to make as they enter into the veterinary field and as they navigate through it, even if they've been within the veterinary field for quite some time. And yeah, I see the poll here is popping up, which gives us some characterization of the folks here and their backgrounds and their, I guess, wants and needs and hopes and dreams. Is that popping up in the chat here specifically? And if not, we
can you respond?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. You can see the poll that we developed global knowledge. Please respond to the poll. It gives us insights to the audience here.
And yes, that'll be it's great to get kind of a sense of just the audience we have, just so we can kind of direct questions towards those individuals. and best serve the needs basically of the audience in attendance. So please do respond to the poll if you have not done so already. It really does help.
Okay, we have quite a percentage of you who have responded to the poll. We can see your responses here.
Awesome. Do we have any kind of broad tendencies, broad strokes that could be painted from the poll results? Or is it more of a scattered picture?
Okay, so from the poll, what we can see here is it's quite scattered actually, but we have a lot of people leaning towards the mid-career professional level when we are talking about the current stage of career that we have here. Now the biggest career challenge it's quite broad, but I think the high points are in finding opportunities and professional growth for what we can see here. Well, I think not everyone has responded to the poll just yet. So, Dr. Neil, would you mind if Dr. Kiki gives a presentation right now? Then after a presentation, we can discuss the poll. Maybe by then, everyone else would have responded.
That sounds completely great. From just knowing how poll works, if we get maybe like 80+%, I'm pretty happy with that. But we can move on to Dr. Kiki.
All right, then. Thanks. Thank you, Neil, for the moderation so far. Thanks also, Bashirat, for your support with the text. So hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining from across the world. I'm really excited for us to finally be here. I remember just about 40 days ago, literally, I made the announcement of the launch of this book on every social media platform available, which I was on. And then we started a lot of awareness about the book, started a LinkedIn page, started an Instagram page, sharing, building the community already from there. And 40 days later, it's been quite a journey. I've received messages of, inquiries, messages, of support, of messages of applause, basically, and, a lot of positive feedback on this. And it seems like, I feel like, this is actually, if I was ever doubting if I was doing the right thing writing this book, I know that I'm definitely doing something that meets the needs of many veterinarians and even animal health professionals. And I'm very happy to be here. The community is when I'm here to share a bit of a journey or a scope or a summary of what exactly this entire book is about. What does it entail? What is it supposed to do? And how does it benefit you as a veterinarian or as an animal health professional? So I'm going to share my screen now where we can start the conversation. Okay. Okay. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we are here to discuss, something you have all signed up for to understand better, which is a veterinary career guide book, and then the entire ecosystem. And it's basically a platform for global guidance tools and community for veterinary careers. Now, let's start with the case scenario. We have two people, same people. I don't want to mention gender right now, but same people. They are both veterinary graduates. They both attended, excellent, amazing veterinary schools. They love animals. That's why they signed up to be a veterinarian in the first place. They are both hardworking, like they really did. They had good grades, did well and everything. However, about 5 years later, we are having some differences in the experiences that each of them have when it comes to their veterinary career journey. And one is that one feels like, fulfilled, excited about their future. The person feels like, I'm in the right space, in the right frame of mind. I feel satisfied in my career path, things like that. While the other person is feeling burnt out, frustrated, questioning whether veterinary medicine was the right choice after all. Like there's just so many things going on. And I mean, in this case, all things being equal, because of course we have external factors that might happen to anyone when it comes to achieving career fulfillment. Now, the question we ask is, what exactly made the difference? Was one smarter? Was one more fortunate? Or did one of them simply have like access to better career guidance and how to really navigate the veterinary profession? And this is the reason today we focus on addressing this very familiar story. I say familiar because I can almost guarantee that every single person who has been a veterinarian has had both moments of maybe feeling fulfilled and just happy about the being in the veterinary career space, and while some others have felt like they are lost and they don't even know what they're doing career-wise. For some people, it might be more of the positive and less of negative. For some, it might be more of the negative part where you feel frustrated and less of the positive. For some people, it's been outright, frustration from the beginning up until now. And the goal is that as a veterinarian, and which I addressed a lot because I shared a bit of my own story, getting into veterinary medicine and, building journey up until where we are now. I shared a bit of my story of how I had to take some time to navigate a lot of these things. But today we'll focus on addressing this very familiar story within the veterinary sector. It's been many people, in the course of my work, I've had quite a number of people reach out to me. And I don't mean just students, I mean people who are even in their 10 years into their careers, 15 years, 20 years, asking questions, or us just having conversations about the veterinary career as a whole. And, this is what I mean by it's a familiar story in the veterinary field. So I'll speak a bit of my journey. So these wiggly lines depict something I'll explain a bit. Please don't laugh at me, but I'm going to share some very huge throwback of myself. First of all, this is me here. This was when I matriculated at the University of Ibadan. I look definitely I was probably like 18 here or something, so I look like a baby. And then I had, some sort of a journey in the veterinary school, ups and downs, lots of experiences. I don't want to go into that now. But then 6+ years later, I graduated, and this was me as a veterinary graduate. And then now the journey between being a veterinary graduate and now, and fast forward, it's been a lot of ups and downs. You can see I did some wiggly thing here in the beginning, but look at, there's a lot of much more wiggly situations there because it's been ups and downs, experiences and frustrations and moments of highs and lows and everything, but it's been a journey. And that's because I have been, first of all, I love, being a career person. I want to love the job that I do. And I did, want to be a vet, and I graduated as a vet. But I had to figure out what exactly does being a vet mean to me, and how exactly do I make the best of the career that I love and that I want to thrive in, that I want to be successful in, and I want to make sure that it's fulfilling for me. So a bit of my journey means that, I started as a vet assistant. I did research internship. I went into health communication. I was doing a lot of blogging on then One Health became, that was, I think at the time, I'm talking about 2011, 2012. In 2010, rather, that was my 50th year of veterinary school. I first heard about about One Health, and that kind of, picked something in me. It was just mentioned very slightly. I remember it was a professor, in my fifth year who just mentioned it very, very, transiently. And then I just picked it up and started researching on it on the internet at that time. And then, after all of that, I started, in my health communication and blogging, I was doing some blogging on One Health. And then I did a master's program. By the way, in between all these things, I was also doing clinics. I was a private clinician for small animals, and particularly poultry, aquaculture, and companion animals. So that was like my forte at the time. And then over time, when I did my master's program, there was a shift. Of course, with a good master's degree or with a good postgraduate degree, it builds your capacity and exposes you to certain things that you probably didn't even know before. So I did my master's program, and then I got into management of projects and working with nonprofits. And I got into the space of international development. And from there, we can see that over time, around this time was when I now established One Health and Development Initiative. I got into One Health. I started doing work in animal welfare, research and policy. I, again, expanded a bit to doing work around digital tech and the social entrepreneurship. Now, my journey is not your journey, and it can never be. Your journey cannot be my journey. We have different likes. Some people like to do one thing and stay in one field and build very deep expertise into this. Some people like to start somewhere and then expand. Some people would want to, probably do something broad, then specialize over time. We all have what we like and what we don't like and what really works for us as a person, as a career person. And that's the essence of what your journey means, because it's part of what is mentioned in the book, what exactly with what your journey looks like. But to cut the long story short, it's kind of metamorphosized into, the Kiki that is now here today, launching this book. And the journey does not end, because there's still a lot to go moving forward from here. And we all hope for the best, and hopefully it continues to be a positive experience moving from here. But that's my journey, just to give a bit of a background, and then I'll move from here. Now, what exactly have I learned in my journey about the veterinary profession? Number one is that it is a very vital and impactful profession. Irrespective of what people's, as a veterinarian, and I'm talking to, core vets now, we know that people have very different opinions about who a vet is, what a vet is, and what it means and all of that. But your role is extreme. You might not know it now, but your role is extremely vital to the well-being of one of the most important species, to the variety of non-human species that we have across the world. The earth is here for us. We are not living in isolation. We are human beings. We are living with like a variety of animals, and they are relying on us as vets to really be able to take care of them, to cater for them. It's impactful, not just for the animals, but also for the humans who are we are together in the ecosystem with the animals, and then also with the ecosystem. I don't want to go to One Health related right now, but at the basis of it, our profession is really vital and it's very impactful. Our profession, of course, is grounded in clinical practice. I'm saying this because I had to bring that, because many times I have people come to me and say, "Oh, Dr. Kiki, you're a new graduate. I want to do One Health. I want to do, entrepreneurship. I want to do international development. I want to, do digital health." And I'm like, okay, do you have experience as a clinician? That's the first question I'd ask. Because even if you're going to do many things, you still need to understand the basics. And the basics doesn't just stop when you finish your veterinary degree. It also means actually putting your learning into practice. So as much as possible, while you may have the bigger goal of being this and that and everything, you need to learn the rudiments of clinical practice. You need to be able to understand what it means to actually care for an animal, because that will give you the basis for how your skills will develop over time in other areas that you branch it over time. Even if you're doing research, that part of, caring for an animal, taking care for an animal's health is very important. I understand maybe people might have, different journeys, but in as much as possible, if you have the opportunity, if you have the time, try to ensure that you are grounded in clinical practice as much as possible, because it will help you always in your future, in your future work. Also, it's a dynamic and evolving profession. This profession is Initially, if you read the book, particularly in chapter 2, I talked about the history of veterinary medicine. I went through details of how veterinary medicine started as just, for utilitarian purposes, because, the kind of species that were being focused on at the time, like horses, of course, for transport and for warfare at the time. Eventually for livestock because of food. And then now we are looking at how it has evolved into companion animals. We're looking at how it has evolved into the biomedical science and how it has helped to be able to support with, vaccine development and medicine and drug discoveries and development for the human race. And now how we now have One Health. So a lot of things are changing. It's evolving, it's growing. And what does that mean? It means that there are more opportunities for impact as a vet. There are more things that you can see, that you can get, that you can be able to key into and say, oh, maybe I can sit down with this space and actually, find my role and find my space and really, really build myself in this space. So the evolving is actually a positive thing, because you now have, initially, if you thought it was just one thing, you actually have a lot of things, career pathways that you can actually go into as a veterinarian. And then, but the issue is, all of these things I've mentioned, many veterinarians don't know about it. There is inadequate career guidance or a roadmap. Many people don't even understand what it means to be a vet. And I say that with all sincerity, because if you really understand it, you'll be able to know how you can be of impacts to the career, impacts yourself in the work that you are doing, and make the best of it for personal fulfillment, for financial growth, and sustainability, and many other things. So what we now have is that because of all these issues, we are seeing that students are graduating. Many students are confused. Professionals are burning out. Limited career guidance, lack of or inadequate mentorship, career stagnation, and limited transition opportunities. I actually met, just to give a story, I met Dr. Neil lots of years ago when he was president of ISOHA. And at that time, they established a mentorship program. I think during that program, I was assigned to a mentor. And to be honest, that was one of the very impactful periods of my career. It was at the time when I was trying to figure out, okay, what exactly do I want to do and everything. And these are the benefits of mentorship. Mentorship really, really brings out a lot of clarity to your career. But if you are with the right person, it's very beneficial. And I mean, Neil, thank you for your work in that space. I've never told you this before, but yeah, that was really, really impactful that you coordinated at the time. So when we have many, people having these issues, students and professionals, irrespective of their career, we realize that many times as vets, we spend lots of years learning how to become veterinarians, but we have very little time learning how to build successful and fulfilling veterinary careers. Not because, for many reasons, because first of all, how veterinary medicine is. It's very intensive. It's a lot of things to grab. You're talking of species, humans that cannot talk. You have to figure things out yourself. The coursework is hectic and all of that. And it's very, very much, apart from the technical part, it's very much on you to now be able to know what to do next, and which is why we'll be discussing this today. So now, imagine if every veterinary student or professional had access to a career roadmap. You graduated from school. You were the best in your studies. You had an amazing, what's it called now? Had amazing time. You had your good grades. You had everything going on for you. And then now you want to, decide what field do you want to do? You need a career roadmap. You need to be able to have guidance on what next to do and how to do it. And that's the essence of this. So I think I'll need a second. I need to work out something very quickly, if you don't mind.
And just in the meantime, yes, Kiki and I were very fortunate to meet. I believe this would have been late 2020, early 2021, perhaps. And and she did play a role in our mentorship program in the International Student Health Alliance, or SOHA for short. And she was really great then and is really great now. And are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm back. Okay, so with all that I've said so far, the issues, the problems, what we face, how the issues with career clarity and everything, this is where the veterinary career guide really comes in to provide that support that you need as a veterinarian on how to, first of all, understand the variety of career pathways that you have, including, of course, the basics is being a clinician, but from clinician, if you can, knowing what exactly are the options that are available for you, both as a clinician and as somebody who is working in other spheres of work, like public, with the government, in the development space, as an entrepreneur, different things. I'll discuss that a bit later. But this really provides a platform where you have all the very necessary veterinary career guidance support that you need to become that very, fulfilled and to have that successful career that you've always wanted as a veterinarian. So what exactly is in this veterinary career guide ecosystem? It starts with the book. So the book is what, it's been promoted over time. The book is here, it's doing lots of things and all of that. And then the book is supported by a toolkit. So that's what is on the website. So it's a combination of the book, the toolkit, and then a resources and community building, because I believe very strongly about community support. I would not be where I am today without community. Most of us will not be where we are today without some sense of community or having, people who are there to, for that mutually beneficial purpose of support. You support others, they also support you. You grow together, you learn, you experience, you get exposed to other sides of things. You get, to know people. You get to interact and really be able to build your capacity as a person. So the resources and community is a very key part of the VCG, Veterinary Career Guide ecosystem. Now, let's talk about the book very briefly. The book itself, this is what the cover page anyway, this is what it looks like. And it answers quite a couple of questions. Who exactly am I? I think everything starts with knowing who you are. What exactly do you enjoy in the part of veterinary, in the veterinary medical field? What kind of work do you enjoy? Do you enjoy field work? Do you enjoy lab work? Do you enjoy clinic work? How do you, what kind of setting? Do you like a very structured system, or do you want to get creative and being able to think of ideas to be able to solve problems in the veterinary space? What opportunities exist? What are the range of opportunities that exist within the veterinary space? Lots of it. I'll kind of share that a bit. Which pathway fits me best? Where can I now find myself in this? I understand all the opportunities or all the career pathways. Which one fits me best as a person, and how do I actually get there? So it's literally a career roadmap. Provides guidance. It opens a Pandora box of, starting from something very fundamental and basic, like who you are, and then sharing with you what the options are and how you can then key yourself into it. And the book has, the meat of the book, rather, because it has different sections, but the meat of the book presents some specific career pathways have been grouped into 8 specific career pathways: clinical veterinary practices, public sector and government, academia and research, international development and humanitarian sector, industry and agribusinesses, entrepreneurship and innovation, leadership and governance, and then unconventional and emerging careers. People who they don't fit into the regular box, but there's always some kind of creative idea of flexibility to how you want to express your own career pathway in veterinary medicine. So this is also an important part of this. And what exactly under each chapter in, talking about all these different career pathways, under each chapter, there is details of all of this. There's an introduction of each career pathway, what exactly it is about, what it entails. What are the main thematic areas? Some have up to 10 thematic areas, some have 5, some have much more, but there are different thematic areas under each career pathway. Why do you think you should choose this career path? So this basically says, this career path, why do you think it will fit you? What are the skills do you need to succeed in this career path? How do you get started in this career path? What are the income and financial realities? This is very important. One of the key to a successful career usually is financing and income, because everybody wants to make a living. You want to be comfortable, at least. You want to be able to know that you're paying your bills. So what are the income and financial realities of choosing this career path? Some career paths might take some time to be able to maybe be comfortable in that sense, or maybe whatever your definition of comfort looks like. Some career paths, it's risky, are riskier. Some are less risky income-wise. So it depends on, you and knowing how to be able to navigate what works for you. What are the common challenges in each career path and how do you navigate them? And now, what are the contexts for those that work in high-income countries? What should you think about when you're thinking of this career path? Those that are in LMICs, lower and middle income country, what are the things for you to consider in this career path? And then after reading all of this, now think through, is this career path right for you? And there are reflection questions for you to answer. And then you have the part of career scenarios where we can just share. There are two major career scenarios that kind of give you an idea of what it feels or looks like to work in this main career path. So it's very robust. It's about 290 pages of very robust, detailed information and career guidance for each career pathway. Now, based on, when I finished writing the book, I think the very first draft that I had, because I did several iterations after that. When I had the very first book, I thought of, let me get feedback from a couple of select people who, some of them know me, some of them don't. I think I reached out to a couple of people, they were like, oh, okay. Yeah, but I wanted to get a mix of information from people to give some, good reviews about the book and just kind of see what they feel. And that was when it was at its the very first major draft. Because after that draft, there were several improvements, several things that were made to really improve and strengthen the book. And what did they say? You will find all of this on the website, actually. But a lot of positive reviews. Thanks to everyone, Professor Rahman, Dr. Francesca, Dr. Basit, Dr. Randa, Dr. Abdullah, Dr. Saunders, Dr. Chizaram from different parts of the world, India, Italy, Nigeria, Algeria, Jordan. I know how long it must have taken you to, read through and now provide very detailed feedback. But this is a summary of all the feedback so far. And, it's been really, I was really humbled. Seeing some of this, like, oh, wow, I really wrote something that I think would be useful for veterinarians. And this is really, really amazing. So I think you should check it out for yourself. If this is proof. So you go get your copy and check this out for yourself and validate this also yourself and give me your feedback. So I would love to hear that. And then the toolkits, very quickly. So the toolkit is, so now the book kind of gives you the theoretical, you know what they say about theory and practical, right? The toolkit gives you the information you need. The toolkit helps you to apply it, basically. So the toolkit contains four main, what's it called now? Thematic areas. Number one is that once you read the book, I've talked about career pathways. The toolkit helps you to be able to apply the things you've learned into practically so that you can actually be able to make a decision and be able to work on your decision over time for as long as possible. Number one tool in the toolkit is the career fit assessment. Now, this helps you to be able to, it asks you a number of questions, detailed questions, like a checklist on you being able to, assess your fit for a career. So based on the scoring you get on each question, but it has been well detailed, well evaluated for this. It gives you some kind of idea of, okay, are you fit to work in the public and government sector? Or do you think maybe working in clinical practice is better? Or do you think it might be better with working in the industry? It helps you do that. Then the next tool is basically, this is decision and deep reflection. It helps you to be able to, once you have a career fit assessment, results or score, it now helps to reflect even much more deeply on it. So this is more like theory. You have to write it out. Career fit assessment is more like doing a checklist and scoring. This one helps now deep, do a deep dive on what you have already assessed already. So, and there is something I want to mention something very quickly. There's something very important about documenting things. This is what many of the things I've done here is what I've done myself, documenting things. I write things out because if I write them down, it helps me, it brings it alive for me and gives me that clarity I need. It's like it's different from me just thinking of doing something. When I write it out, it's more intentional. It creates some kind of remembrance for me. So, and I've applied this because, and of course, based on evidence too, if you read research, there's something about writing things down, even as simple as writing down a to-do list. You wake up in the morning, you are thinking, oh, I have to go to the market. I have to buy, I have to call, my mother. I have to do this. You have like 10 to-dos. If you don't write it down, you realize that at the end of the day, you've not even done up to half of what you intended to do. But if you write it down, it helps you to remember basically, and it also helps you to also, make your decisions in a very much reflective way and accurate way. So this basically, the tool 2 helps with that. Tool 3, career path comparison. Now, after you have done tool 1 and maybe tool 2, tool 2 is optional, but the first one is it's compulsory. After you have done this 2, and you probably filled maybe like 2 or 3 career pathways, you want to compare. Let's say you're having difficulty choosing between working as a clinician and working in, let's say, international development. You can apply the career path comparison. It helps us to compare and be able to make, very good comparison. Okay, what should I do? Which one works for me better? It gives you a deeper reflection on that. And once you have used tool 1, tool 2, tool 3, this is the one where you now start to actually plan your career. You plan it, you evaluate your progress over time. It gives you a monthly review, quarterly review where needed. It gives you reminders and things like that. So it's a lifelong resource and tool that will help you to be able to, intentionally, plan your career as much as possible. And it comes as a complimentary access once you purchase the book. There's a 1 month complimentary access, and then there is a subscription for a very small amount once you've done your 1 month complimentary free access at the end of the day. So this toolkit is very, very important also as a companion for the book. And with the toolkit, you can always go back to the book, look, read again, reflect on it, and then write, fill the toolkit, update over time. Your decisions might change over time. Your experience might change over time. We have, you might experience something that might like, oh, I think I want to do something, different. Or I think I want to deep dive into this sector, or I think I want to add something to the work that I'm already doing, depending on your capacity and also what you think you can do. The toolkit is always there for you to use over time. And okay, I'll do a demo after, I think because of time, I'll do a demo after this presentation. And then the resources and community is here, where you have resources, mentorship. So this actually is not live yet. So it's been planned as an update, which in a few months' time. But it will contain everything from the resources to mentorship to being a part of the veterinary community, career opportunities when necessary. I've had a couple of people send me message and ask, oh, do you need job opportunity? And I'm like, okay, just hold on. We'll have some of these things. We'll have some of these things, start working over time. Learning and CPD career consultations. You can have one-on-one career consultations. We are going to be having, a mentor network from, highly, experienced professionals, that the case may be, and, some other things to also help and build the community over time, and other things as the community grows. So now, after doing all of this, we have, case scenario 2. I'm expecting, and that's my goal and my joy, if you'll be able to buy this book, read it, use the toolkit, and join the community. I want to see the same 2 people. They graduated from veterinary medicine. They attended excellent veterinary schools. They love animals and they're hardworking. I want to see both of them thriving, fulfilled, and excited about their future in the field of veterinary medicine. I want to see people happy with what they are doing. They have passion for what they are doing. They are making impact. They are sustaining themselves income-wise, financially, and actually being comfortable in the work that they are doing. And they are excited about the future of veterinary medicine and understand their role in it and how much impact they are making. I want people to feel the way I feel about my career as I am, because I'm very passionate about what I do. I love my job. I love what I do. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited to continue to bring impacts to the world, to the animals that are in my custody, to the people that I'm working with, and also to the to the global sustainable development of the ecosystem in which we live in. That's my joy. And so I'm presenting once again the Global Veterinary Career Guide. And please, if you want to get the book and access the toolkit, use this QR code, and then you have direct access to be able to make a purchase of the book. Thank you very much, and look forward to your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiki. But that takes us into our Q&A session. I mean, for just congratulations on this achievement, because you could have just written, a book, but it comes with like an entire platform alongside it for people to communicate, for people to monitor their progress throughout their veterinary career. It's like totally above and beyond. And I think people are really gonna take to that very well. Just as kind of a, I guess, introductory question, what first brought you to even approach writing this sort of book? And I guess also what allowed you to get the time to do so as well?
Yeah, so I think for me, it started when it wasn't like some kind of eureka moment. It was just me having people come to me and just basically ask me questions. I think over the course of my career, I have had the opportunity to really meet with several people across board who have also been interested in how I've been fortunate, first of all, to have really immense career growth. I have to say, I think I'm blessed to have that. And I've had people approach me and say, oh my God, I want to do the kind of things you're doing, but I don't know how to go about it. I'm confused. I don't know if I should do this thing or this thing. And, it's been increasing over time. I mean, over the years, I've gotten several emails, several messages on LinkedIn, and, other platforms that I'm on. And it's because I can't, first of all, we have very little time. So there isn't a way to really have mentorship sessions every single time or even every week. My schedule can be very crazy sometimes. And I thought, you know what? I mean, this was 3-4 years ago. Let me write a book that will help to answer some of these questions and even much more. So in 2022, 23 was when I birthed the idea of this book, but I didn't even start writing until 2024. I had a long time of just sitting down there, and I had the outline, but I never really wrote anything of 2024. And then I was like, okay, you know what, let's start writing this. And then I gradually started writing. And then finally, I gave myself a hard deadline of June 30th to finish and launch this book. So it's really been my interaction with people, the experiences that people have shared, the kind of, gap in support that many people need. I experienced, you read in the book where I said that I didn't even understand a lot of things myself. I had to figure things out myself. And I think that if people find it easier, if people find it easier to get some kind of career guidance, I'm happy to share that based on my experience and also my research that I've done to be able to develop the book. So that's the inspiration behind this.
Excellent. And to add a bit more, maybe texture to that question or response, what are the big gaps that you see in the broad area of veterinary career development, and how does this book and what you've done here kind of help to plug those gaps?
Yeah, so I would say that there is some level of veterinary career development in different contexts. It may not be formal, and it may not be like, in a very structured setting. But I think that it can definitely be better. And I think this book can help to make it better. So let me give an example. Some veterinary schools, and I mean some veterinary schools have like career sessions, which probably happens like once or twice in the entire time you are in veterinary school. I'm not even sure. Did I ever have I'm not even sure I had a career session in veterinary school, but I know that some schools have like some days, maybe for final year veterinary grad students, like a career session, or maybe like what the ISOHA is doing, or some veterinary associations are doing for career support. But it's very minimal and it's not consistent or systematic. So this book can help to support that. Veterinary schools can use this book to be able to support their students. They can, mentors can use this book to support their students also in the course of their mentorship. Veterinary associations can use this book to also support their members of the association, student associations, veterinary associations, veterinary medical bodies. They can use the book and the toolkits. They can form career, discussion groups, or even be able to, share opportunities across board with this book and the toolkit and the entire ecosystem that we present here. So this kind of helps to consolidate all of these things and maybe provide a more structured approach to veterinary career development.
I was having trouble with my mic there. To launch even further off of that series of questions, what differentiates this resource from previously existing, or I guess currently existing, veterinary career resources?
Okay, so first of all, I haven't found many career resources specifically for veterinarians.
Yeah.
I can say that I haven't found any, but I could be wrong. So don't quote me. I could be wrong. So I think this is actually quite novel and innovative in that part. Career development has been mostly maybe conversational or discussions, but maybe not like an actual book, or not to now mention a toolkit that provides that support. So it's this definitely is innovative and is really novel to even bring this in the first place. And I'm happy to be able to provide that support in that area.
Gotcha. Moving on, I guess, to maybe a different series of different line of questioning.
Mm-hmm.
What do you currently see as the expanding role of veterinarians and the role they play in global health, public health, food security, and things of that ilk? And how has that changed over the past, I guess, couple of decades, and how do you expect it to continue changing?
Yeah, so I have lots of experiences working in the global health sector and health security, as the case may be. And I mean, I had I think one of the very monumental parts of my career development has been when I worked with WHO for 3 years. And in that role, I was one health consultant. And I think I was the only vet in the entire country at the time. Okay, I think there was one other vet, but he was more into polio work and everything. He had basically veered off veterinary medicine, but I was the only vet. And probably one of the youngest even in the department, because there weren't many vets who were doing One Health at the time. Yeah. So, and the exposure that gave me to global health and health security, and why my role is so important, it was really amazing. I see that a lot of people, particularly when you have like a zoonotic disease, outbreak, a lot of people, starting from like the highest level of the veterinary, the WHO management, actually were waiting for me to give feedback, waiting for my feedback on certain conversations. Like, because you are the expertise here, what are your thoughts? Can you give us the clinical, background of what this means for this outbreak? So this is what I say about being grounded in clinical practice. If I didn't have that clinical practice experience, I would probably have struggled with being able to understand, with being able to explain to human health professionals, ranging from medical doctors to microbiologists to laboratory professionals. I'll have difficulty explaining to them, all of the clinical parts of the work as well, because to be honest, many of them already know what it means for an outbreak, but understanding the pathogenesis, the clinical science, how it affects human beings is something that we vets. It's our role to be able to share that information in the simplest way possible. And it was very important seeing my role, being appreciated in that way, and how important it is, within a human health dominated sector and in the global health security space. And at the time, I was working in the emergency preparedness and response division, which means if there's an outbreak, we are the ones on the field, trying to, doing preparedness, doing response, mobilizing resources, all of those things, and just being on the field and all of that. So my role as your role as a veterinarian, if you ever get into global health and health security, is so important. And also because, we have over 75% of diseases now, emerging diseases now from zoonotic diseases. Trust me, as a vet, you are very, very critical in this space. And I'm so glad to see more vets being engaged in this space, being employed in these spaces. As at 5-10 years ago, I would not imagine, for example, that WHO would be employing vets, or that IFRC, Red Cross, would be employing vets. But we have many organizations now, they are now thinking of One Health approach. They are thinking of people who are doing primarily public health work, are now thinking, oh, there's a One Health part. Let's get a vet to be able to provide support in this. They're thinking of AMR. We need the vets to give us the animal health support. They are thinking of food systems and climate change. They're thinking of a vet to give give expertise in that. And that exactly is what it means to be a vet in an evolving global health security landscape.
Yeah, I want to second you real quick for everybody here that the big thing that we bring to the table, as veterinarians, is that clinical mindset and the ability to create, kind of a differential list in your head, an ability to create a treatment plan in your head, an ability to kind of know and understand those clinical realities and practicalities is really what sets you apart from like an epidemiologist or a researcher, which are of course, very respectable and very necessary professions to have sort of in this space. But that's just one of many things that we, bring to the table.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of curious what, if anything, you're most excited about having been able to write about in this book, like any emerging career avenues for veterinarians that excite you the most, or is it kind of like trying to pick a favorite child?
Now you're putting me on the spot. But yeah, so well, let me just say this. When I used the toolkit for myself, and I did an assessment for myself, I realized that I was very safely and snug in the unconventional career path, which was, interesting for me. And which makes sense because I think my career journey has been quite unconventional in a way, and haven't also dabbled in a number of things within the veterinary space and even innovating across the way. So I wouldn't say I'm excited, but I'm excited that I was able to find my place and being able to build from that. So if your space is being in the clinics for the rest of your life, that is also fine. You should use that space and make the best of that space. If your space is to be in research and academia, use it, be excellent in it, make all the best of that opportunity because it is your space, and so on and so forth. So whatever space, I think I'm very excited the fact that I was able to find my space, find my time, I was able to find where I fit in a way by using that toolkit and being able to know what to now do with finding my space moving forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Kiki. I guess we have a couple minutes for the lightning round.
Okay.
What is one word that best describes the veterinary profession in your mind?
Veterinary profession.
Yeah.
One word. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Fair enough. I mean, there's how many words do we have in the
interesting?
Like
interesting in a positive way. In a positive way, not like as in really interesting. Yeah.
No, I gotcha. What is one career pathway you think most veterinarians should explore?
Well, I think I wouldn't say one career pathway they should explore. I think they should definitely get involved in before moving to other career pathways if they want to. Like I said before, do your clinics, get grounded. Then if you want to expand or, veer off, not veer off, but if you want to branch off to a new area, please feel free to do so. But you need to get grounded in clinical veterinary medicine.
What was the most challenging part of writing the book?
Time.
Yep.
Time.
I figured it was going to be something like that.
Yeah, I had a lot of sleepless nights, but I had to find time. Yeah.
Okay. I guess we should probably move on to the audience Q&A.
Yes.
So let me scroll to the top there. First one regards upgrading grade 12 results, which is not an academic system with which I am personally familiar. Does that ring any bells to you?
Sorry, which question is that?
That's the question at the very top of the Q&A.
Okay, the one of universities rejected my application.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so this is a question that needs a lot of context to answer. So I would suggest if you go to the website, there is a place where go to contact us. you will see a place to book a session with me, a 30-minute session, so that we can, to discuss with. I think I have some schedules I've set apart every week for such conversations. So feel free to go to that section on the website, and you can book a schedule with me for us to discuss on this, because it needs a lot of contextual information before I can give an answer.
I'm not positive this question is of relevance to the book itself, but on the chance it is, we can go with it. How can the VCG support student-led veterinary educational platforms in securing global partnerships and resources to maximize community public health impact? Is that something that the book talks about in much detail? And now we can go to the next one.
Yeah, I'm trying to find I can see the question. How can this student-led veterinary insecurity securing to maximize community health impact? Okay, so for this particular one, I think, just like I said, the community resource and community platform is coming up. And I think that's what this would be most relevant to, which will contain a number of things with regards to resources, mentorship, job board, opportunity sharing, and all of that. So this would definitely help with that. If it's also, you can also be able to, I think, generally just wait for the community and resource section to be live, because that would be live in a few months' time. We're still working on it because there's a lot of preparation that needs to go into that. But once this is live, to answer many of the questions that have to do with partnerships and resources for community health impact, you will get more of that once that is live on the website.
And everybody, please do keep the questions rolling in. We've got plenty of time to answer probably all of them. So long as they're, of relevance to the book and the content thereof. Yeah. Just to, I guess, clarify some questions that I think a couple people have had. The book is about 15 USD. Is that correct?
Yes, it is 15 USD. So that's okay. For the launch price is $15. So you should get your copy now. Launch price. Yes, it's $15. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. From an aquatic health scientist in South Africa, congrats on the launch of your book. I wish you success with that. How do we purchase the book? Also, if readers could take away just one lesson from this book, what would you want that lesson to be?
Yeah, so if it, to get a purchase to the book, can we please just scan this QR code, or can a member of the team please just put the link to the purchase page?
And I guess the question is pre-QR code on screen as well. So perhaps that's also addressed the question.
Yeah, so the QR code, you can purchase the book here, or I think one of the members of my team, my colleague, will put in the direct link to the purchase of the book in the chat box. Then if you take away just one lesson from this book, what would that lesson to be? Lesson from this book. One lesson from the book would be that
probably a lot of lessons, so.
Yeah, maybe not a lesson, but a statement like, I mean, it may sound cliche, but don't give up on your dream. If your dream is to write a book, write the book, basically. And I mean, and this applies to every sphere of your life. If you intend on doing something, you want to achieve it. Again, it may sound cliche because many people just say all of these nice words, but it really is true for everything we do in life. Don't give up on your dream, particularly if it has to do with impacting people and really, really helping people or helping lives. Do it, and the universe will create avenues or pathways for you to get it done anyway. So yeah.
And is it perhaps something like where you have kind of this, maybe at first more vague idea or dream in your head, and then you block out some very specific time to very specifically work towards it, and then you find out more about, like, okay, this is what the process is going to look like, and I'm going to need this much time to do it, and then you're probably going to keep being wrong in at least little ways here or there, but you keep refining what your process looks like, and you eventually do it. Is it something like that? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. This you basically described the journey of writing the book. I think the first,
Okay.
if you look at the very first draft compared to what we have now, it's I probably see that draft as a mess right now. So it took a lot of reading, going to resources, refining things, finding what is, what we're coming from, and also what are the current information right now. Also, yeah, there's also the part of setting out specific times. I think I had to be very intentional about that. I mean, I had a 9 to 5 with a family to take care of, and but I had to really set out like specific times to really sit down, write, and really be more intentional about completing the book over time. So yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
sometimes I can only imagine it's really hard to squeeze in those items. And is it kind of a matter of just intentionally putting that time physically in your schedule, writing it
Yeah.
out, like you said before?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you get really, I'm not great at this all the time, but if you get really advanced, you can kind of break the task down, and then over the next potentially several months, distribute that throughout your kind of daily
Yes.
schedule.
Absolutely. So that the toolkit actually has, but like the career planning part of things actually has that. So you have your goal, your vision. If we have enough time, can I just do a very quick demo of the toolkit? If you
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
yeah. If you have a goal, let me do that.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think a lot of these you've answered in various ways and shapes and forms for
Yeah,
some
let
of
me
these other
do that
questions.
very quickly. Mm. Okay. So once you get your purchase for the book, can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone. I'm going to be doing a bit of just basically sharing what the tool looks like in practical. So once you get a demo of the book, there's a message that comes and shares with you like your credentials, username and the password and everything, and then you are able to change your password and to what you want. I mean, your own password, and then you get access to the dashboard. Okay, this is the checkout, so I won't go into that. So your dashboard looks something like this. Something like this, yeah. So this is like a hypothetical dashboard. So please don't, whatever you see here is not a reflection of me. We just had to do it for the purpose of this demo. So, and in the dashboard, I mean, once you get on board, you will receive a welcome message and some kind of guidance. You can skip it, you can read through it, your choice. And then you have the tools are here. Tools 1 and 2 are kind of together. Tool 3 is here. Tool 4 is here. If you want to book a career consultation, like I said, you just click here and then you can, book a time on my Calendly for this. So it depends on, you can do it right from the dashboard also. And then you have your reports. When you fill your tools, you have your reports and insights all here, listed here. So, hold on. For the tool 1 and 2, excuse me. For the tool 1 and 2, the career tools are listed here. Also, apart from being on the left side of the dashboard, you also have them kind of listed here. So for the tools 1 and 2, you can, because I've started a couple of chapters already, you will see them listed. So these ones here are the ones I've completed. The one for clinical veterinary practice, public sector, and government. I've completed unconventional emerging careers. And this kind of shows me like this is where I've left off. So it saves as you go. So you can always start, continue where you left off over time. So if you want to continue with maybe tool 1, of course, that's where you start from. There is a message that kind of gives you an idea of what filling tool 1 looks like. You click, and this is what I mean. I told you that for tool 1, which is a career fit assessment, you just, kind of click, answer these questions, basically. Yes, maybe, no. So whatever you fill is going to come up to having your results. It's going to give you some results at the end of filling each of the questions. Let's assume that I fill this Again, let me just do this very quickly. I answer these questions with a yes, maybe, or no. It's like a checklist. Just within 10 minutes, you should be done. Do this. The last one. So I can either save and resume later, or I submit. So if I submit, it gives me some kind of score, and it gives you an idea of what that score means, whether your pathway aligns with your interests, potential fit, or a low fit. And then it tells you what next to do. So you can either use the career comparison grid, or you can use the personal career plan. Now let's go back to this career path comparison. So for here, like I said, if you remember what I said, you are comparing two career paths that you've already filled, and you're like, I want to make a decision. What do I do? So for this one, an example is you're comparing unconventional emerging careers to clinical veterinary practice. So you fill in this space, you ask some questions to give you a score, you get some reflection questions, and then it helps you to make a decision. So the essence of this also is that if you still need further support in being able to make a decision in a career, you can still go back and, you can do, have some written reflections. You can write it down. You know what I say about writing things down. And then you can go back to the dashboard and still have like a career consultation if you want. Now, if you have decided that, okay, you want to have this career, this is the career you're choosing, and you want to develop a career planner, you go here to the career planner, and you feel this quite, it's just a one-time feeling. You can go back and edit if you want, but you have to go through filling in. If you're applying a career, you have to think of like, what's your vision? What exactly do you want for your life? What do you see yourself, let's say, as a veterinarian? What's your goal for what you want as a veterinary professional? So you start here with the direction of what you want. So you have to select your primary career path. Say, I want to do public sector and government. And then the thematic or focus areas. Remember, I talked about the fact that the book has thematic or focus areas. Then if you select, for example, public sector and government, it shows you the thematic or focus areas under public sector and government. So you select what you want. So let's say I select animal health disease control. You can select as many as you want. And then it does save and continue. What is your long-term vision? In 3 to 5 years, what do you want to become? What kind of work do you want to be doing? What level of growth do you aim to reach? So again, I just put in demo things here, but you can see the examples here. You can see I want to become a respected public health veterinarian. I want to, be this, I want to be that. What kind of work do I want to be doing? You can see it is here. You want to be designing public health information. You want to be advising government. You want to be in small animal clinics, depending on what you want. So you save and continue. Then you fill in your midterm goals and strategy. You break it down. So you're breaking things down at this point. What are the skills what skills you need to develop? You put it here. What roles do you want to move into? What experience do you need to gain? What networks do you want to build? You put them here. Then your short-term plan. What do you want to do right now? We need the next 0 to 12 months. Skills to build, projects or experience to gain, visibility actions. And then you now have your monthly plan. So you can put in your monthly plan here. Monthly plan, for example, my own, let's say this month's plan, one of my plans was to launch book, Another plan is to finalize, complete a training that I'm working on and blah, blah, blah. And then you save and continue. Now, this is for the month of July. I have something here for the month of June, which you can see here. My monthly information is here for the month of June. Complete graphics, complete toolkit, launch, blah, blah, blah. And I put in something here. So you can also reflect back on the previous month and also fill in the future months. So now at the end of the month, there's going to be, you get a notification on your email that you need to review your month. So I cannot do this now because we are still in the month of July. So it will ask you, what did you complete this month? Why did I not complete it? So it's helping you to evaluate your progress. What did I learn this month? What will I adjust next month? So you answer this. So what this does for you is that even if you're talking to someone, even if you're talking to like a mentor, it gives direction. I've realized that many times, even as a mentor, if I'm starting a conversation, I probably have like just 30 minutes to an hour to discuss. I would also appreciate if the person I'm speaking to already has some kind of idea of as to also has some level of clarity and guidance himself, because that's the best way I can help you. If you don't have guidance, it's like we're starting from scratch. But if you're able to articulate exactly what you want or what you're aiming to achieve, it helps to keep those mentorship sessions or discussion sections very productive. And this toolkit or career planner will definitely help with that. And again, if there's any need for any issues or clarity, you can always do a one-on-one. Like I said, we're going to be having a mentorship network. And even if I'm not available, you will have other people that are available, even within your region or within your country, that can support you with, guiding you on what to do or whatever mentorship you have. And mentorship is not just for students or early career professionals. You can also request some mentorship even as a mid-career professional, even as an advanced career professional. If you need it, yes, you can actually request for mentorship. So it depends on our different levels or needs that we have at the time. So this is just a very, very brief demo, and I really can't go deep into how this will look like. But again, it's left for you to try it out and see how it works for you. I would love to have your feedback, and we'll keep improving the usability of the toolkit over time. And then we would keep ensuring that it is useful, user-friendly, and it's really, really helpful for the people who are using the book vis-a-vis the toolkit and being able to make sure that it is helpful for your veterinary careers. So that's a very brief demo of what the toolkit looks like and how it supports you when you're using your book as a practical application to you reading the book and getting knowledge from the book.
Excellent. Thank you, Kiki. Shall we go back to the audience Q&A?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. What was your main drive to write the book? I know you've said it in various ways before, but
Yeah. My main drive was, seeing the problem that was there, the need I've seen with different people, needing career guidance, or asking questions about what to do or what next to do, how they can get career satisfaction, what kind of support they would need, which they don't have within their vicinity. So that was basically the inspiration behind that.
excellent. And I think this one's probably gonna be helpful to quite a few people. How did you make the transition from from basically private practice to doing, all the other things that you've done? Or maybe more generally, how might just a given clinical practice veterinarian make a transition to a non-clinical career path or job?
Okay, so if you were, I don't know if you joined when I first started the conversation about my journey. So I had already, right from when I was in vet school, I knew I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do with veterinary practice. And that was when I had a course in veterinary public health in my 5th year. And then I heard about One Health. So it immediately clicked something in me at the time. But of course, at the time, there was nothing like 2010, 2011, One Health was not really a thing at the time. It was very much, it was not something that people really understood. So, but when I finished from school, of course, I got into clinical practice. I was more into small animal practice, companion animals, poultry, fish, and the rest of it. And because of the kind of trajectory I wanted to work in the development space. I knew I had to start with getting experience in the development sector. And there aren't many vets. I mean, as at that time, there were not many vets in the development sector. It was weird to get somebody saying they want to volunteer on a project. I did quite a lot of volunteering. I did internship. I had to take short courses on project management, program management. I took courses on monitoring and evaluation of programs. I took courses even on financial management, resource mobilization. And those were things I was building over time to be able to get my skills. While I was doing my clinic work, I had to build my capacity in those areas too. And then over time, of course, I got some fellowships local fellowships to, where I was engaged in social impact work, and I understood the sector. So my job, or I think my joy was being able to apply veterinary medicine to that sector. And building on the experience I had with the clinics, I was able to think, okay, at the individual animal level, this is what I can do. What can I do in the animal health, public health space to be able to build on that as a vet? And that's kind of how I transitioned gradually into that. And of course, that also meant me transitioning into establishing my organization, One Health and Development Initiative. So it was a journey that took me years. It wasn't just, by the time I graduated in 2011 in vet school, it took about 7 years or 8 years for me to establish One Health and Development Initiative, and lots of journey in between. And it also took a couple of number of years for my organization to be sustainable, and then diving into social entrepreneurship. So yes, so it's been a journey, but your journey, you really need to understand yourself and your journey first, and maybe have an idea of where you want to go to before you can be able to apply many of these things to how you want to move forward with your career.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it's always really tricky to know how to get from point A to point B. But thank you for kind of delineating that.
Yeah.
We only have basically 2 questions left here. Is there any country-specific guidance or country-specific like licensure kind of requirements that the book details, especially if people want to move from one country to another?
Okay, I'm trying to see that question well.
And I editorialized a little bit as well, but it's the last question.
Country specific. Does the VCG include specific? So I have to make this very clear. We are not a Veterinary Career Guide is not a recruiting agency or platform. The work of the platform is not to provide jobs for people. So I have to make that, because I've asked this question and I'm like, no, we don't. Maybe not now. I don't know if we're going to have that in future, but definitely it's not within the scope. The goal is provide you career guidance on being able to know what works for you and what career you should go into and how to grow in your career. Now, specifically about what you're talking about, you will have this kind of information when we have the resources and community section, because we're also taking feedback from you, from the questions you're asking, from support you're requesting for. If we'll probably never be a recruitment agency or a job provision, platform. That would probably never happen. But the resources platform will give you all the information you need to make your decision. And also, the mentorship network we are talking about is we'll try and ensure that we have mentors that are most relevant for different regions. For example, because I'm in Nigeria, I might not really have local information on what is in India or what is in the US or what is in Europe or what is in South America. But if you have a mentor who works in that region and has like the very local knowledge, I'm sure that would help you better, right? So even if I come in as a first line, I can be able to refer you to a mentor within your region who can provide support with some of these questions that you are having on the veterinary licensing, on licensing requirements. So all of these things will come up when we have the resource and community platform on the website.
Awesome. And I think we have just enough time for one last question.
Yeah.
What is your opinion about introducing career guidance and mentorship to undergrad students? This is from Nigeria. And do you think the book will help them in the future with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm happy to, if you need any support with that, I'm happy to help. I think part of what I'll be doing after this is that I'll be doing a couple of activities in schools moving forward from here. So I'll be happy, and I mean across within Nigeria and also across countries as the case may be, depending on how this evolves. So I'm happy to provide support with introducing this particular career guidance to undergraduate students. This is a very useful book for that. This actually provides, is a perfect opportunity to be able to introduce them to like the veterinary professional, what it means and how they can find their space better in this. So yes, I think they should be introduced at that level. Undergraduate students is very important from that level.
And it's just kind of a closing question as we kind of transition out of the audience Q&A.
Yeah.
Is there any specific message or set of messages that you'd like to leave the veterinarians and veterinary students who are here with?
Yeah, so my message would be you have been in the veterinary profession, you have a lot of the world is literally at your feet. Like, you have a lot of opportunities. You might not see it, but it's left for you to be able to find it and be really, I want you to see yourself as being a solution to the problems of, apart from just problems of animals, but also of people around you and also of the ecosystem. You are very important and integral to the sustainability of the world that we live in as is. So I want you to take that with you, knowing that you are very important in the space of everything from global health security to animal welfare to sustainable development to livelihoods to health and welfare of people, of animals and ecosystems. And I want you to basically occupy your space in the fields that you're in and being able to understand that your impact is needed and your services are needed in whatever space you find yourself in, be it research or clinics, academia, and the rest of it. So my final message really is that don't take this career that you have for granted. Use it. Find what works for you. Find your space in the field, and ensure that you have you have the best career guidance that, of course, you can get from this book, and as much as possible from the community of veterinarians around you.
Thank you, Dr. Kikiope. This takes us to our giveaway section, our audience giveaway session. I'm wondering if people could put into the chat, not the Q&A, but the chat, in one sentence, what is the biggest career question you hope the Veterinary Career Guide to answer for you, or to help you to answer it? The grand prize for this question, which is essentially whoever has the most thoughtful, question, they get the book for free. They get extended toolkit access for 3 months. And then they get 1 priority career consultation session. Then there's 2 runner-ups that will also be selected, and they get the extended toolkit access for 3 months, as well as 1 priority career consultation session. So please, at your leisure, or as you wish, fill in your answer for that question into the chat. And I know it might take people some time to think, so that's completely understandable. And in the meantime, I guess just to make totally sure, Joseph here had a question about just clarifying that you do indeed get the toolkit with the book purchase. Is that correct?
You said what?
It's correct that you get the toolkit with the book purchase in all cases. Is that correct?
Yes. So you get
Okay.
when you purchase the book, you get 1 month access to the toolkit, and then there's a small subscription after that. But you get that 1 month access to use the toolkit, explore, and basically find your path around it and make it useful for you.
Awesome, thank you. And I mean, we're giving away stuff for free here, so please do feel free to type in your thoughts on what your biggest career question is for the book to answer. It's raining pretty hard here. I hope that my mic isn't picking that up. Let's see if anyone's actually putting that in the Q&A. I don't think so. Perhaps people are wondering about how this will help them to make that transition from clinical to other options. And if you have any specific I guess, question about that or specific thing you're wondering about that, please feel free to put that in the chat. Or maybe you want to
Yeah,
stay from
I think
practice.
because of time, maybe because of time,
Yeah.
maybe we can ask people to send emails.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a
because they're
specific email
just
address
4 minutes away. Yeah, because of time.
is there a specific email address you would most prefer?
Yes, let me
people to
share.
send
Let me
to?
let me display that now. Let me display that.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, so we have the email here, vcg@onehealthdev.org. So you can send your responses to that. At your time.
Beautiful.
Well, not at your
Okay.
time, within the next 24 hours.
That sounds great. Yeah, so you heard it here, folks. Within the next 24 hours, please send those questions into that email address, and the winners can get those free resources that we discussed. With that, though, that does take us to the end of our presentation of our session here. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to join us to talk about the Veterinary Career Guide. Thank you again, Dr. Kikiope, for first of all writing this, putting all of this together, putting all these resources together, as well as all of your presentations. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and you have that email address if you have any questions, comments, what have you about the resource as well. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Neil, and thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.